Hey guys, I wanted to talk about this company, Hyllion. It's a company that works on electric hybrid trucks. And obviously electric cars and trucks are hot right, over the past little while. And there's a company called Tortoise Acquisition Company Corporation. And you're able to get the company, the Hyllion, through this corporation, which is already on the stock exchange. And so I'll just go into TC2000, which is the program I use. So there's this ticker called SHLL, Tortoise Acquisition Corporation. And just before I talk about the chart, you have companies like Tesla and Nikola, and there's a Workhorse, which are in the same kind of area. And so a lot of people talk about, the fundamentals and whether Nikola has, actual trucks, and they're using hydrogen, and there's going to be a requirement for hydrogen charging stations. And I don't get into all that stuff. I just look at the charts. So I thought I would talk about the chart specifically for SHLL. So you can see here, it was pretty flat, and then you had this big spike. And so what will happen is it'll go up, it'll come back down a bit, pull back, and then an opportunity to get in. So I'll draw a little uptrend here. So once you see this candle right here on June 25th, that shows that you have potentially support. So it's not just going to come back down like that. So, and then this one, on the next day, you had a gap up. But once you start to see it go pretty steep like this, like these are huge, these are 27% gains, and then you have, and that's not including the gap up. So if we take it from the previous day, 40% in a day, that's usually a sign to be cautious. Put your stop loss pretty high, close to the price. You can use shorter duration charts. Like I'm looking at the daily chart right now, and then you see another gap. So when you have gap ups here in a pretty steep incline, it's it's a dangerous sign. Like say this is like a 45-degree angle, and then you start to see it go like that. So then once you start to see it come down, what I would do is draw a trend line, as you've probably gathered from my previous videos, hopefully. So I would watch to see what happens. So at first it'd be, you'd have it, like you'd be doing it, if I zoom in a bit, you're probably doing something like this. And you see these red dots, which generally means a downtrend. And, so then what would happen is I would be sort of flattening this trend, because I'd be waiting to see more of an uptrend, which I didn't really see. So as you do this, like you have a break, but there's down candles, they're negative downward candles. So let's say I did it like this, and then you had this, but it gaps up in the morning and then it goes down the whole time. So it's not really a good buying opportunity. And so I move it over, and then same sort of thing, straight down. So there's no really good candles here that would have indicated a purchasing opportunity. And also, like I said, with the red dots, that's a sign, that it's more of a short sell situation. So once you had this trend like this, say you extended it, so you never really got, and then you get down below the 8 EMA, which is one of my decision lines that I use. Like I want it to be above the 8 EMA. So I'd be looking for a green volatility stop, which is below the price, not above. This is where the stop is above the price. So that usually means you're going to be short selling. So then what a lot of times happens is it might break the downtrend here, but it's flat like this. So then what I'll do, and you see the red dots as well. So then what I'll do on a more shorter term duration is to draw a line that kind of shows that, it's a flat, you want to break this sort of relatively flat slope line here. So I would do something like this. Like, so once we have a break and we're not really getting anywhere, I would draw sort of a horizontal line like that. In TC2000, if you hold a shift, so if I have this like this, I hold a shift down, it becomes a horizontal line, and I can drag it down like this. So then I'd be looking for a break of that trend, of that flat line. And the green volatility stops is another positive indication that we're back in a potential uptrend. And also, if you have like a MACD type of indicator on your chart, you'll see this cross up as well. And so anyways, right now, this is looking like a reversal. So it'd be a good opportunity to potentially get in. Of course, I'm not recommending, anybody buy or sell stocks. I'm just trying to saying what I think from analysis, just purely based on the chart. The other thing that if you look at this candle from Thursday, it's about 19%. So when you have big moves like that, you have to be careful that you're not going to see a sell-off, like a profit taking or something like that, when you have a huge gap increase in one day. But that candle is a signal of a total change in sentiment. So you had a big, huge rise, this downtrend, nothing really good, a big bearish candle, and then really small little candles here, dojis, in a very flat consolidated period. But you can see here also the volume went up huge to like 8 million shares. You can see on this TC2000 here. And so you don't necessarily have to buy right. Or if you didn't buy right on this thing, you might want to watch it a bit, but because you want to see if there's profit taking initially, but then usually so you might have a pullback and then you'll have a continuation of the uptrend. So my summary is that this is a potentially good opportunity in terms of the purely based on the charts. And since I'm talking about electric vehicles and trucks and stuff like that, I thought I would just take a quick look at the other ones. So we have Nikola, and this one broke through and has sort of a flat period, but now we can see that we have a pretty good uptrend here. So the only concern I have is that there's a 50-day moving average here, but it's about 10% from there. So sometimes a lot of times you'll see it bounce off the 50 moving average for a while before it breaks through that. But you can see we had a big downtrend and we started to break through in a bit of a horizontal nature, and then we had this gap up here, which is kind of a reversal sign. So this is looking like it's in an uptrend state. So keep an eye on that one. Workhorse horse was another one. It's not looking great. You see we had this big, nice little gradual incline and then a big, huge parabolic move, which is a sign that you want to get out, once you start seeing parabolic moves and gap ups here. But once we started to see this downward trend and all these red dots again, there was a point right here where we had potential once we broke through, but then it came back down. So we're in another kind of a downtrend here. So I would not be getting this right now, but if we see a reversal, that's a time to buy. So there's a few ways you could wait for this to happen. Like I have this line here I can draw, and you can adjust it, but if you put a alert, you can see when the price crosses that trend line. You can also put a alert on the 8 EMA if you wanted to see when it went above that. So instead of greater than, you could say crossing up the moving average right here. And there's other things you could do. Look for a MACD cross, stuff like that. or you could put a horizontal line as well at a certain price as well to see if it gets above, like right now, you might want to see it go above $16 or something like that. But like I say, you'd have to look at the chart and see, like I want to see an uptrend established before I jump in. What else could we look at? Tesla. Now it's going to be doing a stock split. So there was a bit of a bump here, but you can see we've had a couple of spots where we peaked at about 1650, or what is it? Yeah, 16 or 1700. So I'd probably want to see, you know, us get break through that. But and there's going to be a stock split, so you know, you might want to wait and see what happens with that. But what else could we look at? I think there's Neo. I wouldn't be buying this one either, just because, you know, we're looking at a bit of a downtrend. There's a little bit of an exception here with this gap, but it came back down with a big negative bearish candle. So I would not be getting this one either. There is an industry called auto manufacturers, which obviously would include other companies as well, Ford and stuff like that. But there's Solo is an electric vehicle, and same sort of thing. Like there's no point, in my opinion, to sit here and ride this down. Like this, from the peak here on in July to now, is 55%. So I would not want to ride this down and just sit there while you're losing money. So I'll just let this play out until I see a turnaround. You can see here, like you had this big gap, a big parabolic move, and you would draw a down trend like this as you see it break through, and then you wait for it to break through. And you don't have to get it right at this breakthrough point, but then there's that pullback, and then you see it supporting at the T line, the 8 EMA, and that would be probably a good spot to buy. And then when you see it going parabolic like that, you could probably put a stop. Like you'd probably go to a shorter duration, 30 minute or 10, 50 minute, and sort of sell when you see it breaking through the 8 EMA on that shorter time frame. And so right now we're just riding this downtrend, and we're not, you know, we're not interested. I'm not interested in getting into this at this point until I see a turnaround. So hopefully that helps you guys. I would say it's the Shell SHLL chart is looking pretty good. There's no guarantee that any you know, technical analysis is going to work. It's kind of a probabilities game, but you know, if you're using them properly, the probabilities are in your favor. So, you know, 7 out of 10 or whatever trades are going to turn out to be, you know, successful. But no one particular chart is going to work. I could probably do a video where I show some examples where the breakthrough didn't quite work. Usually that's when you wait. You don't wait for a confirmed uptrend. It's more when you see a break of the downtrend and you jump in right at that point that it doesn't always sustain itself. But it might be something to do in another video. So hopefully you guys like this, and we'll talk to you in the next video. If you want to pick up TC2000, check out the link in the description. You can get a free trial and you can get $25 off. I've also got a link to a course on trading and a chat room for daily forum, like where you're in there chatting about stocks, and Steve Bigelow makes a lot of recommendations on stocks to get and ones that are looking good based on candlestick analysis. So you can learn a lot about all the different candlestick patterns and reversals, and people are posting a lot of stocks that are really you know, great, and you can get a lot of help. So check the links out in the description below. See you guys.